welcome back to Pfunzo's View podcast. And how are you doing, folks, today? And also, guys, for y'all that have been listening, thank you so much for the support and listening. I know it's long and everything, but you know, I feel like it's fun. I get to do this at the moment. I'm a little busy, so making the other videos is a little bit of a mission, and I'm learning how to time management and everything. But this is actually much easier because I get to do this without having to do the whole setup and everything. And if you were like me before you got into all of this, or before you like as you just as a viewer of like YouTube content and stuff like that, right? When you used to watch it, you're like, oh my gosh, why do we not upload on time? Why does it take so long? I'm very impatient and I know this, and I know a lot of us also suffer from all of this. But like once I started doing it myself in 2018 and saw how much went to it, and then the more you get into it and the more equipment you get and the better I'm sure like stuff that you get, the more complicated it gets, the more difficult it gets, the more professional you want to become. Like, like for instance, my brother finally bought me. Like my brother actually bought me, not finally, like I was entitled to something, but bought me a microphone, which is the one that I'm using at the moment. And I was like, oh my God, finally I can do a podcast because it connects straight to my laptop or to my phone. Which I don't know if you noticed in like some of the videos that I had before, like my quality of audio, I think got better. Not sure. Please do tell me in the comment section whether or not it did. Yeah, and by the way, if you don't know, the first part of me doing this is me rambling about nonsense, and then you're like, why don't you just get to the point of it? Again, this is just me, I guess, chilling and talking to you while you guys are probably doing something else because the whole point of this. And I think that's why maybe I like sometimes when I'm like listening to this podcast and stuff, I usually am like playing them in the back while I'm busy with something else. You quiet the voices in your head. I'm not the only one that has those. Like, dude, am I the only one that was? I was so weirded out. I was speaking to my mom, and I was like, so, like, because I saw it on Twitter some time back where somebody was like, they don't hear a voice in their head when they're thinking or reading or just sitting or whatever, like planning and stuff. They don't hear a voice in their head. Some see images and some see nothing. And I was just like, then I was like talking to my mom. I was like, so do you like hear a particular voice? Like it's like your voice, but in your head. That kind of like you have a back and forth with, kind of plan out everything. If I'm like not sure about certain things, we have a discussion up there. But it's just me and me in there. But do you guys go through that? Because I was like, I was so weirded out by like when my mom was like, no, she doesn't have a problem like that. That's just weird because all I have is the voice. Like even when I'm talking like this, it feels like there's a voice repeating in my head exactly what I'm saying, and I'm like, yeah, this is normal, right? This is how normal people think, you know. But you learn something new every day, and apparently it is not. We're all different, and people see different things at different times. It was new to me. So, in any case, let's get into what today's topic or topics are. And so today's topics are dating, marriage, relationship, singleness, whatever you want to say. But it's relationship basically at every stage. And just a disclaimer, I'm not married, never been married. I've not gotten divorced from the first statement saying I've never been married. And I've never been engaged. And I've just only been dating and in a relationship. But basically, that's it. That's all I know. So I'm just gonna be when I talk about being married and stuff, I'm gonna talk about it from like a perspective of somebody on the outside, also as someone that has spoken to married people, just to get like a you know and I'm talking about married people like young ones like more my age, married people like older ones like my mom, or like in between, like my brothers and stuff. But I will not be telling their stories or anything like that. I'm just gonna be, referencing some knowledge that dropped on me and some things I observed while watching, like when you're watching a movie and they're trying to push a narrative or something, basically it's gonna be from those perspectives as well, like as like how Hollywood, Nollywood, Zanzi, or Bollywood, or any of these productions and stuff for TV portray marriages or relationships or anything of that kind. And in there, I'm sure I'm also going to be talking a little bit about like, pregnancies or expectations of pregnancies or motherhood or fatherhood or whatever the heck it is, right? So I'm going to be talking about all of that. So for me, when I'm talking about relationships, at this point in time, it's going to be my experience wise, it's going to be, let's just say hetero. It's so weird saying that, but yeah, the only people I guess, which is very sad. And like, I mean, I knew people who were part of the LGBTQ plus community when I was in varsity and stuff, but I wish I kind of knew more people, because the only place where I feel like I'm exposed, or at least I'm able to learn, is via the internet, like via people that I was following or follow, and via like TikTok, where like you get more and more educated on topics that you did not know. For instance, like autism, right? I think the place where I really started to learn a lot more when it came to that was via TikTok, where like the kids that experience it, or the adults that go through um autism, or like I remember there's this Doma Wilson as well that I watched her show, like her kid has autism, and I was like, I was slowly understanding what it is. Like I'm always curious when it comes to especially like mental illnesses and stuff like that. Like it's something that if I'm ever an ambassador and somebody wants me to be an ambassador for something, and I know this is not gonna go to too many people, mental illnesses is where I wanna be, because I feel like I've been right now. I have some sort of like um knowledge or respect for it. Is that what you say? Anyway, let me stop rambling. Like 6 minutes in, and you're like, so we're not gonna get to the topic. Okay, let's just start off with me. So, um, I'm not gonna go into depth into my relationships or the people that I've dated. I'm just gonna talk about just surface level stuff, right? So, and I'm also going to talk about things that I saw on Twitter or any other social media platform, really. And I was like, oh, okay, I have an opinion on that. Why don't you guys just share an unsolicited opinion on something that has nothing to do with me? Not minding my business like I should. So let's start off. Also, if I sound breathy, I don't know why, but I'm so out of breath. Probably just being fed, but yeah, we're gonna say I don't know why. But so starting off, right? I've had a total of, let's see, I've had a total of four relationships that I say serious relationships, and nothing where we were just talking over the phone or something that never led to anywhere. Because I've had some where it was, two, can I say two or three that just, I think they are called dating because it never went further than just that. But in a relationship, it has been four people in an actual relationship, and then extras on top that just didn't make any sense. And like me thinking, was I drunk in this portion? So I started dating late in the game. Let me be honest. If you saw my self esteem, if you had, if you just listen, if you listened to my self esteem, one that just went out like last week Friday, you would have heard me talking about like the time when I was in school and stuff, where like nobody was hitting on you, and you were still stuck on those norms of like, oh, a guy comes to you and you don't go to a guy, you don't approach a guy, and whatever, da, 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 da. And I never had a chance to, I guess, have a relationship at that age, like at a young age. I don't know if it was a good or bad thing, to tell you the truth. But even after that, um, I only started dating. Somebody tried me when I was like 18, just entered 18, and the person was way older than me, which that never worked out because all he wanted was something else, and that never went anywhere. That was a good thing. And then I think officially you can say I started dating at the age of 21, almost 22. That's when I really had the first actual serious relationship, I can say. And that was the first guy I dated. There was a lot of things wrong. There was a lot of it was. I think for me, sometimes I'm like, oh, it was just the right person wrong. Yeah, no. After experiencing them, like now, even when I've matured and I've made decisions, like I'm where in my mental state where I feel like I know me now and I know what I like and I do not like, and this person would not have cut it even now if I had forced the relationship to go on. I think I would not be the woman or the person I am at the moment. Like, I don't think I would, if I'd stayed in it. It was a person who was older than me by 7 years. It was somebody who, in their head, as they were dating me, they thought they were gonna enforce their authority on me. Plus, they love the sound of their own voice more than anything. So that was never gonna go anywhere because I was gonna love the sound of my own voice. Like seriously, guys, I'm actually recording a whole list. podcast on my own in a room at 12 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, so we can say I like listening to my own voice as well. But like this person, like if you're saying something to them, like you'd say something or a statement, and like sometimes, like when what their response is as if you said nothing, and whatever you said means nothing. Even you then go like, "Wow, okay, is it that what I said is not important or something?" And I have that thing where if we're talking or laughing and I make a joke and then everybody's quiet, I'm like, "Oh, crap." I'm gonna think about that thing the whole entire day. You think it ended there? In my head, I'm like, "Why did I do that? If I just said kept quiet, if I just said nothing, regrets, guys. Oh gosh, it eats at you." And I don't know why I allow it to do that to me, but yeah, that was happening with him. And also, we had a disagreement on how, if we were ever to get into a marriage, right? Whether or not, like, the roles we were going to play. And I knew from a young age that I was not going to be one of those that was going to be, you know, at your beck and call. I'm not going to be out here not thinking we're going to do this together and we're all going to take care of our house together. And if we have kids, we're both going to take care of our kids together. Now, he was under the impression of something in his head. He had his own conversation of, oh, like this other day, he decides to open up a conversation of like, hey, so if we get married and stuff and we have kids, if once you have your first kid, you're gonna stop working and you're gonna be sitting at home taking care of them. I said then I was like, oh, okay, no, but okay, no. Like and I told him I was like, no, because at the time, of course, naively thought, once you finish varsity, you go get a job, and then you get a good job, then you get a house, you get all of this. We learned the hard way, especially in this country that we're in. I learned the hard way. Um, at that time, at that time, he was doing something else, which like it could have earned a lot of money, but it was not gonna be enough for if we were both working. The lifestyles we would have chosen to have were not going to work if I decided to quit. And mind you, when he was saying this, he wasn't saying this as a question or as wanting my opinion. It was more so like, we are gonna do this, and I'm telling you, this is what's gonna happen. So I said no, and there were more and more topics like that misogyny came out a lot of the times. Like this person, for instance, and I spoke to them. I do not know why I keep, but there's not a bad person, but at the same time, relationship wise, it's not somebody I see a future with. But they 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 look at someone. I remember they were looking at someone, judging what they were wearing, and then they were like, "Oh, it's like they're naked. I would never allow my girl to wear that." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, something doesn't make sense to me." So you think you have the right over somebody else's body and what they do with their body, or what they choose to wear, or what they do with it? Like you think you're gonna be sitting down with a girl and you're gonna actually be married to her or be in a relationship with her and you'll be able to tell them what to wear. Like even when we were in a relationship, my guy, you never told me what to wear and you're never gonna tell me what to wear ever. That's not a thing. That's gonna happen. So, there was just all of that didn't work out. Then I got to the second person, and this was I was a little bit older. So I was like, okay, cool. I think it was somewhere in 2017 or something. 2017, 2018, I'm not quite sure. It was only lasted a month, so it was serious enough to me. And I counted it but it only lasted a month or two. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember how long it was. Met over Tinder. My Tinder ones have not been working out, seriously. But even the ones where I meet the person, like, in person, they don't work out. And this was like, I met this person via Tinder. We met up, and like, at that time, I still had not had, intercourse with anybody, and I was not ready to, and I was not gonna be. I was nowhere close to being ready to that for that age. So I told this person, like, first day, and I said, "This is where I am, and this is not going to change at the moment, and I don't know when it's going to change. So this is not something where I'm gonna rush into. Um, like it's something where I was like, this is not for church or society or whatever, but it was where my mental and my body was ready for this. I'm gonna be there. So it could have happened when I was young. It could have happened at any time. But if when I know I'm ready, I'm gonna choose the person I'm gonna have, the deed with, and it's gonna be up to me. There was a point in time where I thought I was gonna do that when I was married. We got over that. We got over that hump, and then all of those things. So with that one, there was bad communication, there was childish. I swear, I keep getting ones that are kind of like bratty and entitled. I don't know how. Maybe I'm in between the same thing. Maybe I'm bratty and I'm doing all of these things as well and attracting the same energy I'm giving out. Who knows? Um, so I was like, so when I was in that situation, I ended up like breaking up with the person in the worst way possible, which I didn't know at the time until I learned it afterwards, which was via text, which was the most horrible thing. The least I could have done was called or something, but it happened. It's unfortunate. Apparently did not learn it because I still did it to somebody else again. I don't feel good about it. Um, wait, did I actually do it to somebody else? No, I actually don't think I did that to somebody else. That was the only one that I did that to, but it was also not that long. So, you know what my fault is? It's doing that thing of like being infatuated by someone or the idea of them, which basically is truly just the idea of them because I truly do not know the person and thinking I'm in love. That's the problem. I don't know why I rush into things that are none of my business and I'm rushing into something that is not good for me because you know what? Something else they said an idle mind is a dangerous mind. And for me, if I'm idle, I'm not doing anything and I'm bored, the next thing is let's get into a new relationship and let's see what where this is gonna go. You'll be like, but you only had four. Yeah, but I told you this like in between and I only started dating in my 20s. I'm only 27, about to turn 28 in August. So dating wise, I've been moving and stuff in those ages anyway. But I know there's people that have dated way more than me and probably know way more than me when it comes to this. So that one ended. And then this the third one. This person, I guess you can say, kind of like my mom was in the middle of it because the person came and apologized for my mom and stuff like that. And then I was just like, okay, I tried it, and I think, yeah, it was not great. It did not. It wasn't. Things happened. Violent things happened. Uh, to that where that person did something, not to me, but to someone else. And when I saw that, I was like, no, 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 no. Tomorrow this could be me, and I could be the next victim of like GBV, and I didn't want that. I really do not want that. And guys, you know the thing is like when I like when people are like how do you get into this like gender based violence or anything like that. By the way, I'm just moving off of the topic, but it's still part of the topic of the same topics of being in a relationship, and then you have this gender based violence and stuff, right? And and when I was looking at it, and somebody's like, "How do you get into those relationships? What happens and all of that?" Right? This relationship taught me that it doesn't take all that much, and it's not. You guys think it's simple. It's as simple as like somebody's gonna show you in the beginning that they are abusive or anything like that. No, these people are gonna be talking to you like they're the most loving, kindest, innocent. They're gonna like lure you into their world and you're gonna feel like, okay, this person is nice, this person is not bad, this person is actually good and all of that, and you're gonna be slowly going into that thinking like, oh, okay, this person is not that bad. Why was I thinking this person is bad? Like why would I have known? Not why would I be thinking? I mean, I would have not seen it, right? Why, how would I have known what this type of person is, guys? Going into those things, it's like the same thing when people are asking, how do you end up in a cult? It's because you people think cults or abusive relationships, that it's like a simple thing as like, oh, hey, you're gonna be part of my cult and I'm gonna tell you everything, you're gonna do everything, or hey, you are in a bad relationship and you're gonna really see somebody beating it. No, it starts out slowly. There was love. At least on your end, if you are the victim, you thought there was love. Now, it could have been coming from a child who has seen abuse growing up, might interpret abuse as love, right? So you're going to stick into the situation where they end up being bad. Or the abuser also grew up in a household where abuse was there, and if they saw a parent, this is for both men, women, and non-binary, that binary, I'm so sorry, and non-binary, where if you grow up seeing something and then you emulate it towards your partner, you end up doing that. You end up emulating the exact same thing on your partner, thinking that you're showing love, or you think this is how it should be. If you're married, this is how it should be. And it's not. And maybe you had bad role models and everything. Even that's not an excuse. Please, even if I'm saying all of these things, that's not an excuse for you to be an abuser or a rapist or anything for that matter, to do anything evil to someone else. That's not an excuse. Your trauma is not an excuse. Your trauma is valid, but hurting somebody else because you went through trauma is not. That's not an excuse, because you know the pain, and you victimizing somebody else to go through what you went through is. And I also know that sometimes things like that happen when you didn't think of it, but it's still not an excuse. But in any case, when I'm on that, right, while I'm on that same issue, so online I saw these things, which again, this is allegedly everything that has been happening. Some things that were being released. By the way, today is the 10th of May, 2021. So I saw all of these things yesterday on the 9th of May. The AKA and another situation where the videos are coming out and everything. And like that situation, I'm not gonna talk on because I have no idea what that situation was, but it seems like there's a lot of things that are gonna come out right now. Things are coming out of bits and pieces and everything. We're gonna see where all of that goes to. I'm not gonna talk on that situation because it's not my situation and I have no idea what's happening. But yeah, but also one person in that situation cannot talk for themselves, so it's just yeah. But what I wanted to talk on was I saw a tweet that was like this girl said she was sitting, well, not sitting. Why am I saying sitting as if I knew what she was doing? But she was saying that she had like they were watching the time where a wow, a gender based violent case was happening where the victim Karabo was killed by her boyfriend. I'm gonna use the words allegedly. I'm not sure what the court case is at the moment, but I think he was found guilty of killing his girlfriend and disposing of her and trying to burn her. And she was saying that she had seen that and that the boyfriend had said that um, I wonder what the girl who died did to the guy that killed her to make him do that. And then she also said that a year later, the guy tried to kill her, almost killed her at least. And I was like sitting here thinking of the relationship I was in. Well, I sat down with this guy, and if he hears whatever, I don't care. But I was, I meant if he hears it, I don't know if that was audible or. I know sometimes my words are scrambled together, so I'm gonna try speaking, in a better way. But in any case, going back to what I was saying. So going back to the guy that I was dating, I I asked him at some point when we were dating, and I said, "Have you ever beat up a woman?" And I think this also came up when one of his friends had been charged, or was it before? I think it was no. This was way earlier on than that. Sorry. And I asked him, "Have you ever laid your hands on a woman?" At first, he said, "No, no, no, I've never do that. I've never done that." I was like, "Okay, cool, okay, good. You haven't done that. Okay, that's good." And then he said, "No, no, 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 wait, I did do it once," and then came up with some silly excuse. And I was like, "Nope, mm-mm. There is no excuse for you," because it was like you're trying to blame her for him hitting her, and yeah. And then I was like, "No, there's no excuse." I think we went a back and forth on that. Now, listen, that should have been right there, my girl. Like, leave. This is not it, baby. This is not the situation you want to be in. This person was super nice. They were nice. All of those things, right? Then, out of the blue, at some point, like just before we broke up, this nigga chased his mother with, the case was blunt, a machete, beating her up. And like I didn't know what had happened. And I think I actually know he did come to my house. And this nigga was like late at night. He was coming, being driven by one of his friends. He was drunk as hell. And like I did tell him, like, never come to my house drunk ever, ever in your life. And because he kept on overstepping that boundary, and I was like, mm-mm. Like things were adding up, but I don't know why it took me so long to exit that situation. And like as this person came to my house, I did when they went home that same day, they went and did the whole situation to their moms, and then they were arrested the next day. Now I was calling his phone because I was like, I don't understand what is happening. Dad, this is the person I'm dating, right? We speak and all of that, and I was calling, and when I was calling, like his sister finally answered and then told me that he had been arrested for trying to kill his mom and that this was not the first time. Basically, she was warning me, and it was time for you to listen. Um, and then I was like, after I heard that, I was like, oh, okay. Then I called one of his friends, and I just was like, what is happening? What is going on? And then the friend went into detail, explaining to me and telling me what was happening. And like in that situation, I was just like, I was I was like, oh hell no. And at least when he was still in jail, I was not going to visit someone like that. Let me tell you that. When he was still there in jail, I think maybe one of his friends was visited or whatever. I don't even know. I think he stayed there through the weekend or something. And after like I was already leaving on, I was already going somewhere else. Like as it was coming out, when he came out, when he got his phone and everything, and then he was calling me. At first like, I was calling him and I was like, explain to me what happened because I wanted to get his side of the story. So I was like, tell me what happened. And he was like trying to dodge the whole situation, not trying to tell me or whatever. And then in that situation, I decided like, okay, I'm gonna tell him like it's over. So I told him it was over, right? And I ended it there. I think some time went by, or maybe it even a full week or something? I'm not even quite sure. But this dude went to his mother, told her to call my mom and to get me to get back with him. That was the weirdest thing. Like it was not that deep. We'd not known each other for that long for that to be a thing. And he was trying to get my mom involved as well and all that situation. And by the way, when I say like you don't see when you're gonna end up in a situation that is bad, even though it's literally staring at you in the face saying, girl, run. I did not officially get back with this person, but we were talking again and hanging out again. After this whole thing, I stopped talking to him, I think in general. We also like in between we would go months without talking, so I was like that and I was slowly letting go. But I was like, this person did this thing, and me in my head, even when we broke up, I was like, I don't want to end up being a victim. But I still went back and spoke to this person. I was like, what was wrong with me? Like, what the heck was wrong in my head for me to now, after hearing what happened, knowing my fears, and still talk to this person and deal with this person for that long after that? I was like, okay, okay, all of that ended finally. But also another warning from that relationship that you should know. I was basically like a 4 days in, 4 days out type of girlfriend to him. Like, Monday to Thursday, he was available to talk. And even when I say available to talk, I just meant like, I mean like available to talk at most maybe 4 or 5 minutes on the phone, if not less. But during the weekend, you will not ever find the guy. He will not answer his phone. He will not say anything. He's gonna go get drunk with his friends. I mean, he was drunk every single day. And the thing with all the boyfriends that I had, unfortunately, which I saw only after I was out of the situation, was all of them had an alcoholism problem. And I had grew up around basically seeing alcoholism and stuff, ne? And nicotine addiction or whatever. And I promised myself that I was never gonna get a person like that. And what did I end up doing? Going straight up for the person who was an alcoholic, also nicotine addict, because that thing is basically an addiction. I went straight for the red flags. I said I was not gonna. I'm talking about all three of the ones that I just mentioned. All of them, alcohol problems. Then I went on to the last one, the one that I dated now, which I said I was not going to go into details. Yet I just went into details for everything that I just said. Can you imagine? Um, yeah, but yeah. So with the last one, It was a problem with nicotine mixed with Mary Jane problems and flakiness, I guess. I hope this person never hears this one. At least for their sake, I hope they don't. But I don't think they are. But like it was that, and though the flakiness as well, and the you couldn't depend on the person and asking for money. There's one thing I feel like when once I get into a relationship, what I don't do, most especially when it is not the relationship is still in the beginning. I even think like even when we are like together, like if when I'm like okay, proper committed, money, ne? This money issue can make or break. You can make your way, you can make your marriage or break your marriage, like or your relationship or anything that you're in for that matter, like money. And this person, I remember, I was a fool. It happened 3 times or was it twice? I'm not sure. But we just started dating, right? Again, met on Tinder, and my stupid. This is the one where I went head over heels in love with an idea of a person. I built up this person in my head. I met them, we were talking, those things like in the beginning when people are like talking, interested, and all of those things. I built up this person in my head so much so that I didn't realize, I didn't look at, didn't see the flaws, I guess you can say. I didn't see all the bad. I just, I fictionalized them. I romanticized them in my head or the idea of them in my head and not the actual person. And I was not really reading between the lines of what they were saying to me. Now, what was happening with this person is like, okay, in the beginning, right, because we met off of Tinder, but we decided let's talk more like on WhatsApp and stuff like that because, I don't really go into Tinder all that much for me to be like seeing the messages and stuff. So we exchanged numbers, went to WhatsApp, and we were communicating there. And I mean, I think I went into things way too fast and I rushed into it like I was chasing something and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm head over heels. We did speak, I think, once or twice on video and phone calls. Like in the beginning, this person was putting their all in. Like we were talking, we would talk 1, 2 hours or three on, texting each other and on video calling and then greeting, all of them things, man. Like we were like proper talking and I was like, okay, I like the energy. I'm one of those people that if you're dating me, I need your communication game on fake because it's gonna be the same thing for me. Like I'm gonna take our time. Like if I have a busy schedule, I'm gonna have an hour for you. And for me, it's like we can communicate. Like I said, hey, so let's say if you're going to work and you come out at like 4 or something. Um, 4 at least when you get home, you need to like rest a little, and then we can start talking at like 7, and then by 8 you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, all of them things. You can be cooking while we're talking, you can be doing whatever the heck you're doing. I don't care. But as long as we are having like communication and stuff like that. Um, it can be via calling or texting, but calling mostly because I want that connection because at least that's a conversation. Of course, there's also seeing things, also like seeing each other and stuff, right? Even video calling and all of that. And this person gave this to me in the beginning. In the beginning, the thing has been stuck in my head. Like this person gave this to me in the beginning and then took it away at the same time, like after some time. And like it was like when we were talking, like this guy was talking big game on everything, everything. And I was actually eating it up like it was actual truth. I was like, yes, this all sounds like nonsense, but I'm gonna chew it up. I was blinded by lust and infatuation, you can say. Like it was not. I'm not gonna say love. I was not. That's not it. That was not it. And like I was just all in. And then this person started taking away that communication thing. Where now it's like, oh, I'm just like this person goes like a whole day. I greeted them, then they decide to greet me like later on in the day, and then I was like when I say later on in the day, it's almost like the next day. And then they say, oh no, I was just busy. I was like, okay, I understood in the beginning because I was like, okay, this is still a student. I was like, I understood. I've been a student. Sometimes it's like difficult and all of that, right? But there were times where there were like holidays. Like I can remember this is the time because like it was during the Christmas holidays and he particularly told me he was going home to relax and everything. And I was like, okay, please this time. Mind you, this was like maybe because we started in May and we can say officially. So it has been 6 months in June. uh, not in June, in December. I'm bad in December, and I was like, okay, cool. This person is at least gonna talk to me or something, right? Like during the seasons, the because like he's at home, he's not doing schoolwork or nothing like that. When I tell you, this guy did not even try calling, texting, or nothing. Like what I should have known was way before that this person, they're not putting in the energy I'm putting in. Like I started, like in the beginning, I used to be like, okay, I'm gonna like talk to them, like try to push them to talk to me every day or whatever. Kante, I stress in that this person is not giving me the same energy I'm giving to them, and I cannot live with it for the rest of my life. That's the one thing I started realizing. I was like, this is not gonna be my life. This is not gonna be it. Like I need you to talk to me. I need you to be there for me. I need you to listen. I need you to be. We need to communicate, man. Like we're not that close. It's during COVID times. Of course, we're not gonna be seeing each other like those many times or nothing like that. But at least can we have like open communication? This person was living in the student accommodation, but when they go to inside the school, there is Wi-Fi, and if you actually wanted to talk, because I've used that Wi-Fi, and the time that I was using it was bad, so like there was a time that like this person had the Wi-Fi, and they could have spoken to me, but the excuse was like I didn't have that. I was like, but you school has the Wi-Fi. I did no, this is not it. And then like the airtime thing, I was like, okay, fine, but I'll call you. When I tell you 5 minutes, the guy is done. He wants to go. I was just like, this is not gonna be my life. There it was not really alcohol as much as it was weed and nicotine. And I don't like cigarettes. When I was in Cape Town, inhaled a lot of those things. When I came back to Univen, I remember when I was in varsity next. I don't know why I'm saying this. Like you might know what it is for some other people. But yeah, when I came back to the varsity next to home, every time somebody was smoking next to me, the next day I would wake up a little bit sick, and then it'll clear up like maybe the next 2 days or so. But like it didn't. It was not good for me. I can't take the smell or the secondhand smoking. So I should have known. Okay. So I went through all my life story, my embarrassingness, and my stupidity in these relationships. Like, but guys, like, being honest, ne, I don't know anything about marriage, but I know what I want if I actually ever end up getting married. Which also, can we also agree that not everybody is for marriage and should be for marriage? Can we agree on that? Can we agree that if you are married, don't ask me when I'm getting married. It's none of your business. Learn to mind your business. If you feel like me being a single friend, ne, be not being married is an issue to you, cut me off now. Go get married friends and cut me off. But asking me every 5 seconds if when I'm gonna get married or if I'm married or all of those things, like why are we doing this? Like, what is this? No, just no. This is the same. This is the same question where people want to ask you when are you gonna have kids or things of that nature, or when you're gonna have a family, or if you. Who told you I said I wanted to have a kid? Who told you that every woman or every man or every person who is also non-binary wants to have a child? If you crave that and that's for you, good on you. But don't, I feel like the questions I should never ask somebody is um, if they're in a relationship, if they're married, if they have kids, if they're done with school. All of these questions are like none of your business. Like if you stay in your lane and I stay in mine, and I mind what's mine and you mind what's yours, we're not gonna have a problem. But see, the problem is gonna come in when you cannot just mind your business and you're in my business. And I know it almost kind of seems like it's random, but guys, I've seen way too many times where like people are just gonna feel so free to ask somebody questions that have nothing to do with them. And then you're just sitting there like, what was the point of that? Like, what was the aim? You thought you did something when you did that. What was the aim of you hurting someone who did nothing to you? Who, even if they did something to you, how is it any of your business? I guess it's more things that I like always. Sometimes I like question, and I'm like sitting there and like, this don't make no damn sense to me, hey? Um, I think for me, I guess you can say what are my views on marriage. I feel like for me, it's like if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not running or rushing for it. I was never one of those people that when I was younger, I was dreaming of a wedding. I cannot even tell you sitting here what I would want my wedding to look like or what. I think the only thing I remember when we are discussing with like family or something like that or friends is like the number of people or where I would want to definitely have that issue was like if it's like when the topic came up, I would be like, I want a small number of people and I want it very far from people. Just that's all I know. So basically that's it. So I don't know. My views on marriages. Do you? Whatever the heck you want, do you? The only one I hate, ne, like this is not just marriage but relationships. Like polygamy, ne. I feel like, of course, if you're for it and you want it, good on you, right? But for me, it always seems like, I mean, if you're like in South Africa where they made polygamy legal, which is just the man marrying as many wives as he wants to, but then made polyamory, is it polyamory? The 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 female version of it illegal or just not legal. How is that fair? I mean, if y'all are on like we wanna share our love, we wanna spread our love or anything like that, and like that you don't polygamy is not something selfish or anything like that, then shouldn't I also get the opportunity to date as many or marry as many people as I want to? Like why is it that it's only one sided? And I also think it's very selfish. And also sometimes we've seen that the ones that when I get married to more than one woman can't even support even just one. Like I mean, if you're gonna be out here trying to gather up and I don't know whatever have like 1,000 of them, in most cases you find that it's not the most richest of people, like filthy rich, the wealthy generational wealth or anything in between. Um, like they don't. I thought back in the day, like the reason why they ended up marrying like so many women was because if the first wife did not have a male child, because that was the important. They didn't have the male child, then they would marry, but they will have to talk with the first wife first, and she would have to agree, and they marry, and she has to select. But this is also culture to culture, mind you. But from like common things I've seen, like not the diluted version of the ones that we're gonna get, is that the wife was very muchly involved in the second or third or fourth wife coming in. And most of the time, you were getting them because it was for you trying to look for like a male kid or whatever, or more kids, I don't know, in between that, or if there was infertility or whatever. But funny enough, ne, when it comes to this thing of having children, right? Do people even do people understand that like women carry just the X chromosome, right? And the gender determination doesn't come from my eggs. What's it called? Ovaries? Over? Which one is it? Yeah, it doesn't come from me, but it comes from you, who your sperm can either be an X or an Y. And when it attaches to the egg, it can come out in different um, forms of whatever the child comes out as. And I have my body has nothing to do with that. But you will see in like movies there, the thing that kills me. You'll see the man, like a man, the movie that I was recently watching. This guy was like telling his wife all sorts of things, like even more Nigerian movies that I've watched that always just disgust me. Disgust. Is that how you say it? I feel like I'm saying it with a lisp or something. They disgust me so much. It's like when the guy is like, "You're only giving me female children." Like, as if female children are not important or they cannot do anything, and that I want a male child and you cannot give me. And then they go marry more women, and then they end up still having female children. And then they're like, "Oh, you people are it's all you who are you're ganging up against." And I'm like, "No, sweetie, your hoo-hoos, your two little dangler things are what's ganging up against you. If you feel like that's being ganged up against, it ain't me." Like if I was to leave you and go to someone else, I probably have the male children that you were looking for so much. like, like, like seriously, it's so funny to me. By the way, as we are on this topic, right? Hopefully this one is not like all over the place or anything like this. Is still within the same realm. I was just watching a movie, guys. Marriage is not the end all be all. Now, You'll know why I'm saying this. So I'm watching a movie. This woman is married to this guy. They've been married for a while, and they've been having miscarriages. And not she couldn't at that time. Her body could not carry the babies to term, and they were struggling with that. And then the husband, of course, like these stories want you to always, we should always be looking out for this. Goes out and cheats on her, and allegedly, apparently, gets a girl pregnant. And then, of course, he starts neglecting his wife and calling her all sorts of names. He once even used the statement of like he is pouring his liquids, his love liquids, into into a basket that's just letting them sip on the side and it's not carrying anything. This was him insulting his wife that she couldn't carry children, or like he was not the problem but she was. So then she suggested, let's do surrogacy. People, surrogacy is fine. I don't know who told y'all that surrogacy is not a good thing. Surrogacy is fine. Listen, the child is genetically yours, like biologically yours, just being carried in somebody else's oven. But it's still, the bun is still yours, completely yours. It's made with your ingredients, and then it is yours, just being cooked in another oven. I don't know if that metaphor even made any sense. Um, but yeah, I was when I was watching that, this guy abused her, called his family to even lay even more abuses on her, and denied his cheating. And of course, there was a lot of things that happened. Her sister denied because she was afraid. Da, 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 all them things that don't even matter. But he ended up kicking her out and then bringing in his so-called pregnant girlfriend. And then, of course, she was just playing him, for the money. Which I was like, I wish they'd given me more of his torment. Um, this woman had gotten him a contract, which was like, if a guy like cheated on me, got a girl pregnant, kicked me out of my house, made his family make fun of me, my own turn on me, and he did all of that, made me cry, made me almost lose my job. And I'm doing this guy a favor. And I've been kneeling, begging, even though I was not the one in the wrong, knelt, begged, asked him, please let's sort these things out. And this man abused you very verbally, told you your whole life story, if not more, and you were still begging. And then the funniest bit is when the whole prayer thing, like, oh, she's praying for her marriage, as if there was a demon in her husband. No, it was just your husband. He was just doing exactly what he wanted to do. Okay, and he was like, and then, like, okay, you're gonna say movies is going anyway. In the end of it, she ends up finding out that she's pregnant, which I'm always like, when I look at this story, I'm like, okay, cheesy as hell, but okay. We also know the ending of these stories most of the time. As you're watching them, you're like, this is how they're gonna go. I remember watching it with my mom, I was like, oh, okay, this is definitely how this is gonna go. And then Yena, he ended up finding out that the girl that said she was pregnant for him was not actually pregnant for him. She just wanted the money, and it was set up by another girl that the woman worked with. And then after finding that out, he goes and confronts somebody that was behind the whole thing, and then now goes back to his wife. Now he's begging her, like, baby, please forgive me. And this woman just forgives him in 2 seconds. And I was just sitting there like, Nigerian movies, I'm tired. I am tired of this plot. I am tired of you telling women that even in bad situations where they're being abused, they should stay. I saw a movie talking about how I think I mentioned in one of those movies where, guys, if you want to see homophobia in movies, Nigerian movies will give you that. There's a bunch of them. And like even when these celebrities talk about, like, you've seen there's a lot of celebrities that are very homophobic as well. Nigerian homophobic, like celebrities that are very homophobic, hiding behind the whole that their country illegal, what do you call it? It's illegal or criminalize people's sexuality, and you have celebrities hiding behind that as a thing of like why they would not accept somebody, and why they feel like judging people and saying they're nonsense makes any sense. And you have It's just every time I look at that industry where they have an opportunity to whether to like uplift women, or there could be a voice for people in the LGBTQ plus community so that their government reverses that nonsense. It just, I always look at it and I'm just like, you could do so much, but you always go the other direction. Guys, a girl being raped, this is nothing to do with him. And then in their movies, especially like those old timey movies, which was one of the movies that I watched, they were told that she was unclean. She couldn't be part of the ceremony where she becomes a bride because she's now unclean because she was raped. She was forcefully, I don't know, actually, all of them are forcefully. She was raped. And now people were calling her unclean. And sometimes they use rape as if it's payback or something, and that so that person got what they deserved. Nobody deserved to be raped. I don't know who told you, like who told you that that was a punishment worth you using on someone, even if it's for fiction. And then you will have one where I just recently saw like a story where this woman was given the strength, he was fighting. The whole entire movie, you will hear this woman go like, "Who's going to marry her? Who's going to marry her? Who's going to like? Why is marriage your only focus? Money should be your focus. Success should be your focus. Happiness should be your focus. Not marriage and kids and all of this nonsense. That should not be your only focus. That thing should just be 5% each. But your happiness and your well-being should be 60% of what should be 95% of yourself. You be selfish within yourself to take care of yourself, for you to be successful, for you to like I remember even talking to like family, like a little sister of mine, and then I was like, we were just talking, and I was like, marriage is not the end all be all, and you should, we were talking about happiness and all that. She was like, no, no, it is. It is. I was like, no, it is not. While you're busy being told, of course, like me growing up, you'd be like, oh, wake up at 5 you are waking up so late. How is it how you're gonna be at your in-laws? And I was like, that's the foremost. I'm not those ones that are gonna wake up at 5 o'clock to take care of a whole group of people. I'm gonna be asleep until listen. How do you expect somebody that is also on holiday because they were working the whole year like you? They also want to relax, but you want to kill somebody's child with house chores in your house. Hire somebody else so if you cannot take care of your house. That your son's wife is not your maid for the holidays. She should not take care of your family. When she's not there, aren't you guys taking care of yourself? What the heck are you using her like a dog or a donkey for? I was saying, the donkey self. Why are you using that poor? She's there also to rest. But you evil people are just deciding that you will pour out your evilness onto someone and you will move it from generation to generation to generation that this is the norm. Such nonsense, yes. Like I remember when like when the kid was like, I don't get who also I think I was like, who told you I was gonna get married? Also, even if I did, I do my investigation first though. If this whole person even on their own thinks I'm gonna clean up after them, I'm like see, wrong one, wrong number. I am not the one. We are knocking on the wrong door. This is not it. I- Listen, if let's just say somebody ever saw me and thought I want to marry this obese girl, listen, I am not going to be your mate, nor your family's mate. I am not going to be a tool for you people to use until you're done with me. I'm not a baby making machine. I am none of those things. I am a human being, and if I'm coming to your house during the holidays, it's because I also want to rest. If we have to all combine our money and at least create employment for somebody, let us do that. Because you will not kill me. That is not a thing I will be part of. Thank you, next. You know, gosh, when you're watching movies, like it's like when you're watching, you watch the Justice League, not the new one that they released, but like the old one, the one that had a whole ass mess even in the action, and they took down the Wonder Woman's power to the floor. Like when I was watching it, after watching it from the cinema, I was like, "What the heck happened here? Did they just like they like took down her strength like as if she was nothing?" And I was just like, all of these industries are all the same, man. Yo, also another place that I'm like I get tired of is TikTok when it comes to these things. Yo, misogyny in TikTok. Yo, guys. Yo. If you want to propagate engineer, is like when you're on TikTok and you're seeing these topics being spoken about, and then you see a bunch of these misogynistic women and men. I just commenting, the pygmies commenting on that ish, and the misogynistic guys, commenting on things, and you just sit there and go like, I can't. I just cannot with you people. Like, guys, respect for other people is just gone. I'm not even going to lie. It's just gone. It's not even there. He left the building a long time ago, and ain't nobody accessing that building for a very long time. Just everybody thinks that their opinion is so important. Yes, I know I say this as I'm also airing like my own opinion, but I also know that my opinion is just my opinion. I will not force somebody to follow what I'm saying. It's your choice. Listen, to come to this, I had to make decisions for me, and I made choices for me. Nobody forced me to. I learned what I learned for myself, and this had nothing to do with anybody else. So do you, man. Like, do you in everything in life. And I hope this podcast was not all over the place, but I think most of it was taken. Maybe I'll do a part two when we're going into marriage, like fully into marriage and divorces and all of those things. But also, I just want to leave with this message of if your marriage is not working out, either side, leave. I know like there's a lot of people that will keep telling women all like most of the time I'm gonna talk on a section I know and I've seen is women that you make the home, you suffer through it. Marriage is not supposed to be suffering. I'm supposed to be married to somebody who is my friend, who should be there for me, who should be who we should be taking care of each other. Marriage is not supposed to be suffering. That's not marriage. That's just torture. When you're not supposed to be suffering in your marriage, you're supposed to be living a good life. So I know I'm saying this as a single person or whatever, but I've also spoken to people that were married before. And of course, I've had also people debating on like, even if you're suffering and all of that, stay in the marriage and you're gonna stay whatever. But guys, try the therapy thing if it's working and see if that works for you. Try talking long and seeing what your issues are. Also though at the same time, do what works for you. But if something is not working out, don't the reason for you not leaving should not be what you think society is gonna say. Screw society, to be honest. They're always gonna have something to say about you, whether you stay in that marriage or you come back home or you do whatever you do. People are always gonna have their vows and they use them to talk all the time. Even if they have no facts or whatever, they're gonna still use it against you. So in that situation I say just let it go. Also, don't ever be desperate for marriage because guys, anything will take you into sections where you're paying 5,000 to a pastor to pray for you to get married. Don't be that. It'll come for you if it needs to. Also, maybe approach, the guy that you've been liking. I'm not saying force the person. Approach them and talk to them. And to be honest, if you're looking for a partner that you're gonna love and everything and all of that, it shouldn't be somebody who is gonna be threatened by you approaching them. If they are threatened, then move the hell on to the next person because that person is way too fragile for their own good. But all I'm saying is approach the damn person. The worst that's gonna happen is they're gonna reject you. But approach them. Say, hey, I'm looking at you, and if they say, oh, I'm dating somebody, then you move on. Don't force yourself on them. You move the heck on. You sometimes we're sitting out here, we see something we like. We have lost opportunities. Maybe if I had done this earlier, I would not have lost so many opportunities. Also, I think I'm gonna do a part two on this one because I don't want to make this longer than an hour. So I'm gonna do a part two, just talking about other things. But yeah, Guys, I hope you definitely enjoyed this, and I thank you for listening, guys. And we've come to the end of this. This is the first time where it's almost approaching an hour, so I'm definitely gonna end it. And thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Forgot to say this in the beginning. And thanks for listening. Love you. Bye.